Boy, what a night. What an amazing night. Just to summarize, well, first of all, I mean, let's not overstate what happened last night. Since 1980, New Hampshire has gone for, let's see here, President Paul Tsongas and President Gary Hart, as well as President Michael Dukakis. They actually, those are the only two where the person didn't become the nominee. On the Republican side, it's dicier. It was, President Pat Buchanan. Actually, the rest of them were John McCain. Oh, yeah, John McCain, and he was the nominee, and Mitt Romney was the nominee. So actually, this is better than it may seem. So there's that. There's, who Bernie won, which is really remarkable. I mean, he basically won every demographic group except the 1%. The only group that the Bernie didn't win was people making over $200,000 a year. That was it, as far as I can tell. And in fact, Bernie did last night the shortest political fundraiser in history. He was giving his speech. Louise and I were watching it. And he said, he turns to the camera and he says, please help us raise the funds we need, whether it's $10, $20, $50. And then he said, there you go, shortest fundraiser ever. So I went on BernieSanders.com and clicked the donate button. It took me over to Act Blue. I chose the amount I wanted to give. I plugged in my information and I hit process, and it just went into the spinning wheel of death. And I was not able to donate to Bernie. And, within an hour or so, then Louise and I got back home to the boat and, got in bed and went to sleep. And I forgot. I still haven't done it. I've got to do it later today. But I wanted to be one of those. Well, let me back up a little bit. Politico did a piece called the Politico 100: Billionaires Dominate 2016 by Ken Vogel and Isaac Arnsdorf. And he points out that the 2 million smallest donors combined, that would be me and you, have actually come up with over $155 million so far in this election cycle for all kinds of people, right? Democrats and Republicans. But that's much less than the $195 million that we know of that has already been spent by 100 people, 100 donors. And they call them, and Forbes calls them the Forbes 100. They said the analysis found that the leading beneficiaries of checks from the top 100 donors were Jeb Bush's floundering campaign. He got $49 million from the people on that list. Number 2 was Hillary Clinton. She got $38 million from the people on that list. And number 3 was Ted Cruz, who got $37 million from the people on that list. And interestingly, Cruz has been trashing the elites, and Clinton is beginning to. I think it's fascinating. I think that there is an actual shift going on. And I think it was so well captured by Angry Chair posting over at democraticunderground.com this morning. And I don't know who Angry Chair is. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, or I don't know the age, but I get my sense of it is that this is a millennial woman posting, but I don't know. But in any case, I agree with the sentiment. And I think it's a brilliant analysis. And that is, today is that day. A Democratic socialist won the New Hampshire primary. He's proposing a lot of programs that will create a lot of change. Those programs will cost money. As a middle class income earner, I may pay more in taxes for it. I get it. We get it. So I pass this along to Clinton, her surrogates, and her supporters as you attempt to regain traction and get your footing in what was a historic primary loss. Realize the race we're running, is already over. The alienation and ridicule of Sanders and his supporters will do you no favors, but push us harder to elect Sanders. We are not fringe. We are not lost, ignorant, or confused. Women who support Sanders are not going to make a make-believe place called hell, nor are they following a guy. They are strong, intelligent, and making their own decision. There are millions of us, and we have given millions of dollars to Sanders' campaign, and we can give millions and millions more, and we are so tired of the BS. And I think that just really, really captures it. And that was my point. I was saying yesterday, if Hillary Clinton were to reboot herself, fire the Mark Penns and fire all the consultants, including her husband, who say, go to the banks for money. Last week she was supposed to do 2 fundraisers in New York City, one for BlackRock or at BlackRock, and another for another big investment bank group, and she postponed them. I would say, kill it all off, become Bernie Sanders. In other words, adopt his policy positions. So this is the thing. It's not that a bunch of people, particularly a bunch of young people, who haven't spent the last 15, 20 years following politics and following Bernie's career, or who haven't been listening to this program for the last decade. It's not that a lot of people said, 74-year-old Jewish guy from Vermont that most people in the country have never heard of. Let's make him the Democratic nominee. That's a great idea. That's not how it happened. What happened is Bernie is, and it's not a bunch of people are sitting around going, I'm really angry, I'm really PO'd. Who's also angry? That's not what's happening either. It's that Bernie Sanders is speaking truth to power. And he has been speaking truth to power his entire political career. His entire life, apparently. And I think that the Clinton campaign needs to. I think she needs to do a really serious reboot. But we'll see. I mean, what yesterday, David Brock, who runs the anti-Hillary or the pro-Hillary, anti-Bernie super PAC, and who was the hitman, used to be a right-wing hitman, took down Anita Hill, and then became a left-wing hitman, and ran Media Matters, and now works for the Clintons, or runs a super PAC that's supportive of Hillary Clinton. That basically he came out yesterday and he said, having heard Bill Clinton go on the attack of Bernie, be critical of Bernie, he has said this is essentially an open declaration of war. In other words, Bill Clinton can't call up David Brock and say, go after Bernie. Right? That's coordination between a campaign and a super PAC. But he can give a speech in which he's saying, do this. And David Brock, basically replied, okay, Bill Clinton just said, time to bring on the Kraken, right? Bring down the Kraken. And, I saw these 3 anti-Bernie posts over on Time Magazine's Daily Beast yesterday, almost immediately. It's like, boom, here's the opposition research. I don't think it's going to work. I really don't. I mean, I can tell you where Bernie's weaknesses are, and they're not a big deal, right? It's just not going to work. And, the European betting groups have taken Bernie from a 1% chance of winning now to 1 in 7. Still, it's about 20%. That's a hell of a big difference, but it's still not like he's got this thing locked up. But it's going to be interesting. To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.